Hey guys, what's up? What's going on out there today? Brent Abel here, webtennis.com with another episode of another reality check. Today's message is your number one key to producing high quality power and spin. And I'm going to focus on the topspin forehand today, just for example. But this message today really applies to so many different strokes in the game. But let's just work on one stroke today, the topspin forehand ground stroke. And look, guys, before we get into it, just a quick message that I've got a free video for you. There's a link right down below. When we're done today with today's video, if you've not already done so, I want you to go down and click the link and get signed up. Just takes a first name and email address. It's a free 9-minute video that talks about the 80-20 reality of when we play matches. And that is that 80% on average of the time when we're on the court during a match, 80% is spent between points and on side changes. And when you manage that time really well, you tend to play consistently at the very top of your current skill level. And once you start doing that, that's when you start to build confidence in a way that you can now move on up to whatever that next skill level is. So, yeah, right down below when we're done today, click that link, get signed up. Again, a free 9-minute video that I've got for you. Guys, look, your number one key to high quality power and spin, and this is something that we worked on back in January of 2025 as our number one funding. And I'm going to do a little bit deeper dive on it today because I want to make sure that you've got a way to feel what I'm going to talk about. And that is um, how do we produce natural racket speed as we approach contact, right? Swing speed. How do we do that? And the best way to do it is with a more relaxed grip pressure, right? Too often, too often we just get too grippy, we get too tight, we get too tense. Even if we've got a nice relaxed grip pressure before contact, but typically what happens is we tense up right at the moment of contact, and that slows that racket speed down. And it also disrupts a little bit of your natural swing path as you're trying to produce. And we talked earlier today about earlier in this video. Let's use the topspin forehand for example. And the topspin forehand has a slight low to high swing path. And my belief is that if we get too grippy on the racket, we disrupt that swing path. And certainly we slow down the racket speed as we go through the ball. But what I want you to do today to start getting a feel of what's a much more relaxed grip pressure on your topspin forehand, I want you to have someone underhand feed you some balls from the same, obviously from the same side of the court, right? Put them over on the single sideline so they're out of harm's way, knowing that they're gonna one bounce, underhand feed you a ball, and you're going to feel. I want you to feel as you swing out towards contact. I want you to start tinkering with different grip pressures so that you feel, well, that's way too loose. Oh, that one's a little bit too tight. And let's start working your way towards finding what is something that maybe right now feels a little bit too relaxed. However, at the same time, as you go through the ball, you trust that you don't need to get grippy on it, right? You don't need to control the racket as much as you probably do right now, as much as you think you do as you go through the ball. And the reason I say have someone underhand feed you a one bounce ball is because, all right, maybe you've got, okay, I understand intellectually why I need a more relaxed grip pressure at contact, at least or through contact. But when you have that person over there, hey, let's do some cross court forehands, for example. You know what? The ball's coming in so fast that all your brain's consumed with is just timing. When's that incoming ball going to arrive? And your ability to be able to actually consciously feel what's going on with grip pressure, it kind of gets taken away just because of your brain thinking, well, when's this ball going to arrive? Right. So have someone underhand feed you some balls. Now it's coming in so slow. And I get it. This is not reality in terms of how you play matches, but you've got to start off so slow that you actually can feel. You can feel what those different grip pressures are like. And so what I would encourage you to do And it doesn't take much, right? Got to get a practice partner out there and just ask them, hey, would you underhand feed me 10, 15, 20 forehands, one bounce to your forehand so that you can feel the different grip pressures from zero being way too loose, right? To five being like the death grip, and finding something that's more like probably around a two, right? To where you really are just relaxing your hand through contact and not firming up the grip. And then once you get a feel for that after say 15 of those underhand one bounce feeds, have your guy go over there, excuse me, on the other side of the net and racket feed you from just on the other side of the net some more one bounce balls, right? To where you're still trying to feel on a slightly faster incoming ball what's the right grip pressure that you have some natural swing speed through that now creates that power, right? Power just comes from swing speed, doesn't come from strength on the grip. When you get strong in the grip, you slow it down. You actually take away the potential for power, right? So you really want to feel okay. Well, power actually comes from a much more relaxed grip pressure, which produces more swing speed. And if you don't get grippy right before contact, you get a much higher quality spin as well. Higher quality means, in my mind anyway, that you get to be able to play a tighter spin up and over higher over the top of the net, safer. But because you've produced this high quality spin without getting grippy on it, without thinking you got to muscle that top spin over, now it wants to bring itself back down. You got a much tighter. I shouldn't. Well, in context to spin, you get a much more faster, let's say, revolution when you don't muscle the ball over from a tight or too tight a grip. So the whole key here is putting yourself into number one, okay, well, this makes sense intellectually. Number two, then how do you develop the feel for you? And it's going to be unique for you. What might feel relaxed for me might be maybe too tight for you or might be too loose for you. But you got to tinker with this, right? You've got to get out there, slow incoming ball feeds, starting with an underhand feed, then going to a racket feed, and then maybe you've started to get the feel in your hand of what that's like. Okay, now we can go into some cross court or maybe right back up the middle forehands where you're just trying to produce the same feeling in your hand, in grip pressure. And what happens for me when I get loose enough on it, all of a sudden my shoulder really gets involved with actually swinging the racket as opposed to just manipulating everything with the hand. And when I do that, I typically hit a much higher quality forehand in terms of natural power and a much higher quality spin. Guys, I hope this has been helpful. Let me know down below what's on your mind from today's episode. And yeah, if you want to, I'm not saying do a deeper dive, but if you want to go back and look at what we worked on January 1st, which was the first fundy in that series, I know that first one was all about relaxed hands. And it starts with your ready position, right? Where you're facing forward, and that opponent over there is about to receive the ball that you've just hit over there. So you don't really know if what's coming back is going to be a forehand or a backhand, right? And it all starts with relaxed hands at that point because if you're too grippy on the racket handle during your facing forward ready position, you don't get a real quick reaction to, oh, okay, the ball's over my right side. If you're right-handed, to your forehand. All right. And you don't get a full turn with the shoulders to get prepped. So yeah, racket speed on the forehand, obviously in terms of power and spin, is huge. Um, but really, in your ready position to start the whole process of a topspin forehand, is just important as well. All right, guys. Look, hopefully helpful day. Let me know down below in the comments area what's on your mind. Any feedback, any questions, let me know. I love to respond to your stuff. And look, there's a link down below, as I mentioned at the top of this video. If you've not yet picked up my free 9-minute video that I've got for you that talks about what I do between points, there's a 4-part between point system. I've got 4 points between points routine. And when you get good at it, when you get disciplined to it, guess what? You start to consistently play the points, the upcoming points, at the very top of your current skill level. Right down below, guys, I want you to click it and get started. And as always, right now, it is time. It's that time. We got to get out there. We got to help someone else have a great day, guys. I will see you again next time.